Hi everybody, it's Peter Zellum's Griniflix Adventure 8 and welcome to another video. I have a fun video today. I'm comparing old with new. Actually, that's not really a comparison, is it? I'm mixing old and new and seeing what I can come up with. What I'm comparing is the M11 with a vintage collapsible lens. A 50mm f3.5 Elmar lens. Just for fun, I'm going to use my M240p with a 50mm f1.4 Summilux lens. What sort of results can we get with the two cameras? It will be interesting. I'll have some shots side by side, so you'll be able to see what sort of shots I'm getting. Things I like about Leica is the small form factor, so you could have high quality, low size, small size, lightweight, and this would have to be the lightest combination you could possibly get, having one of these old vintage collapsible lenses with the M11 body. And I've got some scales here. $730 grams. The M240 with the Summilux lens comes in at 1,175 grams, so that's almost 50% heavier. Alright, so I'm going to add some weight to this. I will add the handle. So that combination now comes in at 820 grams. Heading up to the beach, to McMaster's Beach again, so they will be landscape type shots. Let's go out into the field with these two cameras and see what we can get. So I guess the good thing about mixing old and new is that you can save some money with the old. Either an old lens or an old camera body. I suspect these Leica M240s or Type 240s, whether it be the P version, which is this one, or the standard version, they're probably quite economical to buy, but I think they're still going up in price. I wouldn't be surprised if I ever did sell this one. It would go for a higher price than what I bought it for. And the lens, the old lens, well, I suspect they go up in price as well over time. So is Leica a good investment? Well, who knows, but if you use it, it's a good investment. So I tend to use all my cameras in some manner or form, so I find they all good value. Anyway, where would you spend your money? On the latest body or on a lens? And I guess this video comparison is going to be comparing an older body with a new lens and a new body with an old lens. Both have their pros and cons and both have their own character, I suppose, when it comes to the lens, that is. Anyway. We'll have the slideshow. And you make your own conclusions and see what you like and what you don't like. How do you mix your lenses and your bodies? Do you mix old with new? Lens, old lens with new body, new lens with old body. It's fun, just mixing and matching. It helps with the creativity, I think. The lagoon has opened up to the ocean here, so there should be some different type of shots for a change. When the lagoon does open, it opens up only when there's some heavy rainfall and when the lagoon is really full. So it's really full, a lot of rainfall, so it's opened up. People around there standing by the outlet here. Anyway, grab some shots. I notice there's some pelicans around here as well. And they've obviously come in for the easy food. There will be a lot of brim, I suppose, and other salt, freshwater, brackish water fish that will be swimming in and out as part of this whole ecosystem. Take some shots. When there's a sudden change of salinity in the water, unfortunately a lot of fish die. So there's a whole bunch of little baby flathead. Originally the flathead fish. And I guess that provides food for the next lot of fish that come in from the sea. I guess all part of the ecosystem, just nature doing its thing around here. Yeah. Anyway, talking about things. In my camera reviews and lens comparisons and body camera comparisons, my comparisons tend to be more on a practical aspect on how can you combine things, either your camera body or the lens, and what characteristics can you notice about that lens, what can you learn about the camera, and how can you use it in your particular shooting situation. So I'll take some more shots around here and try and be a little bit creative as well. Let's jump into Lightroom and look at a couple of photographs here. The photographs that I'll be showing are the ones that I've selected from the two cameras, and I've already done the editing in post-processing using Lightroom. And some things that I'll go through with you now is just what sort of editing I had to do with the two images, depending whether it was taken with the Elmar lens on the M11, that's the left side here, or whether it was taken with the M240p with the 15mm Summilux lens. You can see straight away from the raw file without any editing, they are quite different. What you're seeing here is a fundamental difference in the two lenses, 1954 versus close to 2020, or the current version of the 50mm Summilux lens. The Summilux lens is fantastic, so it doesn't matter how extreme the light is, you've got great contrast and great detail. The collapsible lens, well, it's showing its age, and it doesn't handle the extreme lights and darks when they're close together, and you see a lot of flaring that goes on within the lens itself. As far as detail is concerned, it's not too bad. Zoom in and have a closer look, and we've got quite a bit of detail in both photographs. So the lens picks up the detail okay. I know I've tested the collapsible Elmar lens, 1954 lens before. It's pretty sharp in the middle. As it goes towards the edge, it loses some detail, where the Summilux is got detail everywhere. This photograph isn't the best to show that, but in previous videos I've actually shown that. Alright, so what needs to happen? This was typical of my shooting of the two lenses with the different bodies for this particular video, is that I had to take each one of these raw files, was shot with the Elmar lens on the M11, and I had to do some post-processing to reduce this flare and to bring the image back closer to that you can achieve with a Summilux lens. So what I did, I'll show you some general editing that I would have done. So what I found the most effective way with this particular lens was in Lightroom, using the dehaze, and by moving that slider, again depending on the photograph, you can move it right to the very end or somewhere in between, and then in combination with reducing some of the blacks, maybe bringing up the shadows a little bit more, and then we've got sort of a more of a reasonable image. Yes, you still have a lot of this flare here, but it's reduced it substantially by using the dehaze and bringing up the shadows again, depending on your shot. If we go back to a side-by-side comparison, we're starting to see some differences there. We could probably bring up the whites as well. Let's try that. Bring up the whites. And then have another look. Look, it's not too bad, but the lens wins. The Summilux lens wins without a doubt as far as contrast is concerned, and the detail, inevitably, if you do a really detailed study. Yeah, so that was probably one thing to note. So if we're looking at well, what's the advantage of using a more modern lens? It means there's a lot less post-processing that needs to be done to bring the image up. Again, depending on the type of shot. If you really want that that softer look, well, you can just take it back to how it was with lots of flares. So again, depending on your shot. The photographs that I've selected, some are using the M240p, which is a 2 with a file name 2L underscore, and then the M11s are the L and the 1 and 0 zeros. It's not so, and I'll go. You'll see in the photographs in the slideshow that follows the finished product. I'm not going to go through all the different edits, but you can see just in some of these shots. So this is the M11 with the Elmar vintage lens. The JPEG that came out of the camera is like this, quite flat, and then after the editing of the raw file, you can get a much better result. For example, like this versus the JPEG straight out of the camera. Okay, it's not a comparison which camera combination, lens combination is better. It's really a case of whatever lenses you got, whatever camera you got, you can do stuff in post-processing to bring up the image to get the type of result that you want. And then depending on your budget, whether you go for something old and old, or new and old, or you can get different results. It, like always, the more you know about your equipment, whether it be camera bodies or lenses or any accessories you attach, the better results that you can achieve, more creative results that you can achieve. So the old Elmar vintage lens still has life in it. It just means you have to do a bit more processing and post-processing if you want to get some good results out of it. It's got a lot of character. The more character the lens has, the more work you have to do to get the result. A result, whatever result you want. Anyway, have a look at the slideshow. Comment, see which photos you like the best, what combination you like the best, whether you like using the newer lens with a older body or the older lens with a newer body. Welcome your comments. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little video. I hope you liked the photographs as well. And when you do your photography, do you like to go lightweight, or you don't mind carrying the extra weight, obviously, to get the extra quality? I shoot both. Sometimes I just want really lightweight and the novelty of traveling light. Other times I'm prepared to carry the weight to give me maximum flexibility as far as the type of equipment and what sort of function it has. So shooting a really fast lens, you're going to add a lot of weight. The 50mm Summilux is quite heavy. Would you ever use this sort of combination, an old vintage lens on a brand new camera body? or you just wouldn't shoot vintage lenses at all. Anyway, I welcome your comments. Really appreciate your time in watching the video. If it's the first time to my channel, then please do subscribe. Press subscribe, notifications, if you want to be notified when the next video is out. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps support the channel. It helps me produce more content for you guys. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.